Raz, where are you?
Guys, I'm trapped. My boss wants me here.
We're not leaving without you. Just go downstairs now.
Rapunzel!
Look for my CHR.
That was fun.
Wait till you see where we're going.
Introducing an all-new crossover. Toyota CHR. Toyota, let's go places.
The season ended today. The Tigers would miss the SEC tournament for the first time since joining the league.
A real worry for Missouri. Look at them. They're languishing at the bottom of the standings. They really need to get a win today if they're going to haul themselves up and make the tournament, but they are in real danger of missing the tournament this year.
Tennessee coming off a 6-4 win over 24th-ranked Ole Miss. This offense is explosive for the Volunteers. One of the leading assisters in the country, Erin Gilroy, in her first season of college soccer, she's showing up big.
Very talented player. She can also chip in with a goal, but look at this pass, picking out Bunny Shaw in the box. Shaw does the rest.
Easy when you have a target like Bunny Shaw, who is third in the SEC with 10 goals this year, two-time Offensive Player of the Year. She can finish in a multitude of ways.
Yeah, right foot, left foot, as you saw there in the air. And look at the skill here, just dropping the keeper with a drop of the shoulder and burying it.
But she's going to have a real challenge on her hands with Anna Frick in the center of the Missouri back line. Only a sophomore, but she has anchored that Mizzou defense each of her first two seasons in Columbia.
Yeah, looking forward to this battle this afternoon, Nate. Frick is totally physically committed in every challenge. Her timing and positioning is excellent. That'll be a real battle this afternoon.
And Tennessee has struggled to defend set pieces this season. Madison Lewis is a weapon for Missouri. She scored free kick goals in each of the last two games.
Yeah, and this is a beauty against Florida the other night. That might be a way Missouri can get themselves pulled up and back into contention in this game this afternoon.
Plenty of star power. We're to the midway point in the SEC season. Tennessee trying to prove it's for real. Missouri trying to clamber back up the table. The Volunteers and the Tigers coming up next on the SEC Network.
Understand this is a very quiet area.
They don't want me here, and they don't want these kids here. The whole game, they was pushing across the N-word.
This is stuff that should have made the national news.
How do you fire a coach who just won an all-state championship? These are my kids. This is my team. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not.
Back at Walton Stadium in Columbia, just moments away from kickoff between the 21st ranked Tennessee Volunteers and the host Missouri Tigers. Nate Gatter and Simon Rose back with you. Let's go ahead and set up the lineups for you here this afternoon. First for the visiting Volunteers under Brian Penske. Simon, the exact same 11 Tennessee used on Thursday night, and why not after scoring 6 goals against Ole Miss?
They did score 6, Nate, but they also conceded 4, and they do have a weakness, even though this is a team that's flying certainly when they go forward. There's no weakness there.
Khadijah Shaw and Aaron Gilroy highlighted up at the top, and now for Missouri, Brian Blitz changing things around a little bit more as he does. The back line especially with some changes today, and Kristen Rivers gets her second straight starting goal.
Yeah, Kristen Rivers, who had a couple of rocky moments on Thursday against Florida, but then really redeemed herself in the second half. But yeah, he's mixed up the back four, bring Polivka into the back four for Brian Blitz this afternoon, and they will really have to be on their toes to combat a very potent Tennessee attack.
Both Polivka and Rachel Hines making only their third starts of the season. You see Kristen Rivers, the redshirt senior from Lawrenceville, Georgia, getting her second straight start. The last 2 games were the first times that a Missouri keeper played the entirety of the match. Kelsey Dawsey against Vanderbilt, she gave up 5 goals. Rivers had a bit of a rocky start, gave up 2 goals within 30 seconds in the first half against Florida, but then settled in, saved a penalty kick, and had a couple of other nice plays to keep Missouri in that one.
She had a great penalty save, and if that penalty had gone in, I really would have feared the worst for Missouri, who conceded 5 goals in the 3 previous games. Saved the penalty, and that was really a turning point for the team to reorganize at the back, come forward, get themselves a goal in the second half, and really, in the end, we're unlucky not to tie it. That's the kind of game they're going to have to pick up right from the kickoff here today if they're going to have any chance of getting to Tennessee this afternoon.
So here we go for Walton Stadium. Tennessee in the orange on the road, Missouri wearing the whites. And the Volunteers to start with it. This is a potent Tennessee offense, as we've mentioned.
Already, though, right from the kickoff, Nate, you saw 4 Missouri players swarm forward with that very high press that they love to push, do Missouri. And that's obviously going to be one of the ways they're going to try and unsettle that back four for Tennessee as much as they can early in this game if they're going to get anywhere today.
Maya Neal trying to clear it away from Tennessee, and she's able to knock it out of play. The referee's assistant on the near side had that as a Missouri throw-in, but evidently our referee felt it deflected off of Sarah Lubert, so Tennessee will take possession. Volunteers 11-1-1 on the year. Their only loss against third-ranked South Carolina, and that was a 1-0 decision in overtime.
We saw Bunny Shaw there for the first time get on the ball. You can see what an imposing physical presence she is as well. And Missouri are really going to have their work cut out for them this afternoon, containing her threat. Once the ball's at her feet, as we talked about in the opening remarks, Nate, she can hurt you in so many ways. And here she is now, wide right, which is not really where Tennessee would want it ideally, but here she comes anyway.
Past Polivka, help from Rachel Hines, and the ball then cleared off by Anna Frick. Missouri center back we highlighted in the open. Shaw can assist as well, though. She had a goal and 2 helpers against Ole Miss. 10 goals and 4 assists on the season. Lubert on a nutmeg past Vignola, but cleared away. As you said, Simon, you can see Missouri devoting the numbers forward already, playing really a 2-striker look early on. That one swiped away, and here's a chance for the Volunteers on the break. Aaron Gilroy trying to step past Madison Lewis. She gets free for a left-foot effort, but well high.
Missouri have to be careful this afternoon. If you're going to press like they're pressing, you cannot give the ball away as cheaply as Madison Lewis did there. That square ball straight to the opposition, and you just can't do that. That's going to make you have to work even harder. You know, you've got to be sure early in this game to make sure your passes are accurate, pick out your own teammates. Don't give the ball away in silly situations like that.
Tennessee loves to get out on the break.
And that will help them. If you give the ball away in that kind of area, that's really going to help them swarm you very quickly.
Josie Jennings trying to combine with Vignola. Now Anna Bialzak. She had a couple of goals against Ole Miss. Added an assist as well. Outside Riley O'Keefe. She was the other 2-goal scorer. Her cross well high and in the end over the bar. Tennessee leads the all-time series in this matchup, 3-1-1, but Missouri is still unbeaten in the 2 matches played between the sides here in Columbia. Mizzou had a win and a draw against Tennessee. Last year, the Vols came away with a 2-0 win in September. Mary Alice Vignola had the second goal for Tennessee. The winner came from Michelle Christie, a redshirt senior who will come off the bench for the Vols today. Maya Neal pressuring Jessica Johnson, and it's Johnson who's called for the foul. Tennessee will have a free kick.
That was 50-50, it looked like to me. It could have gone either way. Maya Neal, of course, who's a 2-sport athlete, isn't she, Nate? She's a heptathlete, and a really good one as well.
Still a heptathlete at Tennessee, playing 2 sports in the SEC, 5-time high school All-American.
Wow.
In high school track and field.
Imagine that, having the talent to do 2 sports at this level.
Neal's free kick towards Shaw, but Frick is make that Lewis there to head it away. Jennings back in. Ball's to O'Keefe. Our pass out wide looking for French, but instead a Missouri throw. Both of these teams, we talked about this early on in the season, Simon, how Missouri likes to use depth. Brian Blitz, the Tigers veteran head coach, plays a lot of players. He used 19 against Florida. Well, Brian Penske uses even more for Tennessee. He played 24 players against Ole Miss.
He did, of course. At one point, it looked like they were cruising away with that game, so he was able to work some players in, but then before you knew it, the game was really competitive again after a couple of really quick Ole Miss goals, and then he had to bring in some more of his starters again just to seal things up, shore it up a little bit there. That was one of the most insane games, Nate, that I've seen in a long, long time. You just don't see 6-4 games, especially when you have a team like Tennessee who, going into that game, had only conceded 4 altogether.
Here's Johnson into the penalty area. Savannah Trujillo shot it blocked away. Falls to Lubert, whose volley is well wayward. And Ole Miss, to its credit, had only allowed 5 goals all season. Tennessee hung 6 on them on Thursday night. A highly entertaining 6-4 Volunteers win down in Knoxville.
Real hope for Missouri, though. An early chance here. Good-looking shot, too, from Trujillo. It's definitely on target. And unfortunately, the rebound for Sarah Lubert kind of summed up the way her second season has been going. She snatched at it a little bit. Maybe a little over-eager to get back on the score sheet. I have a feeling that if this was this time last season, that would have been a left-foot volley in the top corner, but that's how this game goes sometimes.
Lubert, the redshirt, or rather the sophomore out of Jefferson City, had those 10 goals last year. Already has 4 assists this season, matching her total from a year ago. My goodness, Rivers got herself in a difficult situation there.
A lot of Missouri fans' hearts in mouths there a minute as Kristen Rivers, a huge part of what a goalkeeper has to do in today's game is you have to be good on the floor, you have to be able to take the ball to your feet and knock it around and pass. But even so, she was taking a risk there, but sure, just a little bit late on the challenge. It was definitely a foul.
Vignola controls for Tennessee. Sophomore out of Cincinnati. To O'Keefe.
Just good build-up play here from Tennessee.
Now wide Gilroy. This is what the Volunteers would rather see. Gilroy on the wing, Shaw in the middle as a target.
And this is where they're so dangerous to me, is coming forward, this good combination play.
Hess takes it away from O'Keefe.
But well defended by Missouri. And now they've got, Tennessee have committed a few players forward, and if Missouri can break quickly, that might be one place, as well as any dead ball situations where they might be able to hurt Tennessee this afternoon.
You can see the way that Tennessee likes to get forward on the wings. Here's Ren French, and she's the right back, but she will really attack up that flank. As Missouri was starting what would have been a breakaway there, Tennessee really only had 3 in the back line.
Exactly. And so that, Tennessee like to do that. They like to play out from the back. You saw Yanez, who I think, Shea Yanez in goal for Tennessee is good on the floor. Nice, calm pass out to the back 4 there. But she does have 1 or 2 weaknesses.
Shaw on the turn, low shot just wide. She is dangerous anytime she touches the ball in the penalty area.
So good, even with her back to goal, Nate. Normally, when you're a defender, that's where you want the attacker with the back to goal. Don't let them turn, don't let them turn. She's still able to get a quick turn and shot off there. And an early warning for Missouri about what she can do. Here she is, look. Good defending there too, right on her, but then the challenge lets her turn. Just top the ball a little bit. And here we go again. Rivers this time opting not to take a touch and to just get rid of it.
Here's Gilroy again. Yelzak on the overlapping run, but High's there, at least to knock it away momentarily.
I think it was Lewis again there, giving the ball away in a bad position. She kind of tried to take the ball first time out of the air. She probably had time to bring it down and play a pass rather than try to play it first time. That's nice work from Lubert.
Steps past Jennings.
Such good skill with the ball at her feet. And a nice ball into the corner too for Johnson.
Johnson outrunning Neal to get to it. A couple of white shirts available, but Neal knocks it away out of bounds.
That's what you got to love about Lubert, though, Nate. She's having a rough season goal-scoring wise, but she never, ever stops working so hard for this team. And, you know, when you play in a team with, if you can have 11 players with that kind of attitude, you're going to be all right in the long run.
Here's Katie Cousins for Tennessee, the conductor of the orchestra from the defensive midfield position. Wayward pass finds Casey Clark. Should say Caitlin Clark, although Casey was a standout in her own right for this program.
And this year they've been asking Caitlin to sort of play more of a role that her sister Casey, as you mentioned, did play for this team. Sort of being that engine in midfield, picking up all the loose balls, trying to get the team moving forward when she gets the ball.
Here's Johnson. Hasn't been able to negotiate much space on the right flank so far, but wins a Missouri corner, knocked out by Katie Cousins. You talk about engines of a team. Katie Cousins might be the ultimate engine of any team in this conference.
Yeah, she was, I think, much missed by Tennessee last season, Nate. She was away with the U.S. under-20 women's team, and she got World Cup experience. And when we talked to Coach Penske the other day, he said, yes, we lost her for a year, but now we have her back. It's like having a new player with the experience of playing a World Cup, and she's such a great player.
Trujillo's corner.
Good corner, really nice delivery, fired in. And as we know, another slight weakness that Tennessee has is from set pieces. And it looks like, to me, we'll have to see when Missouri get another corner, if they've identified something too on those set pieces, that firing the ball in is a weakness that Tennessee have a hard time dealing with those kind of set pieces. We'll see the next time Missouri get one.
You can tell the confidence that Tennessee has, and
Yeah.
head coach Brian Penske has, especially in Katie Cousins, because of this formation. She's basically the only player by herself playing a true midfield. Bryn Polivka got away with quite a shove there on Shaw.
Well, you know what, though? Polivka got the ball first and then just said, okay. And I think that's good play from Polivka. She's letting Shaw know, look, I'm not going to be bullied by you this afternoon. You know, you're going to be in for a battle. And I got no problem with that. She got the ball first and then just, you know, the hands were on there. And the Tennessee fans here weren't happy about it, but I think the referee was right to let that go. Back to Cousins for a minute, Nate, though. She's the kind of player...
That goes through to Gilroy. Frick trying to close down. First time effort is wide.
Gilroy could have done better with that, actually. She was on a goal. You could see she was trying to take it as it dropped and just topped the shot and didn't get anything on it, and it was wide as well. As I was saying about Cousins, she's the kind of player I really like, and Coach Penske talked about her the other day. She just patrols that area in front of her back four. She's not a glory player at all. She knows what her job is. It's so well defined. She is there to sweep up the loose balls, just like they're trying to get Caitlin Clark to do for Missouri. Cousins is there to clean up the loose ball and be the base to set up all the Tennessee attacks. And here she is now.
Allows a lot of freedom for those wing backs and the true midfielders to get forward a whole lot. Vignola crunched by Clark and Joseph.
So the Missouri pressing game really paying off there.
Neal trying to hold off Savannah Trujillo.
Did it well.
So well.
Yeah.
But only as far as Joseph, who knocks it out for a Tennessee goal kick.
It's been a good battle early on. Good physical battle. I mean, Missouri's a very physical, high-pressing team, and they knew that they were going to get the same kind of play from Tennessee, who are a very big physical team as well. It's been a good battle.
O'Keefe in on that one, but Frick as reliable as ever, clearing it away.
She is so reliable. She's a real rock for Missouri at the back.
See Bunny Shaw there, and we've highlighted that matchup with Bryn Polivka. In the open, we were expecting to see more of Shaw and Frick. It seems like Anna Frick is playing more of a free sweeper role,
that's
and
exactly
Polivka
right.
is matched up with Shaw.
And Polivka again there, just really leaving a foot in on Shaw. And again, I'm not sure there was too much wrong with that. The referee let the earlier one go. Maybe that played into that decision a little bit. It didn't look too bad to me, but now this is really a dangerous situation for Missouri to defend against. We'll see what Tennessee can do with this set piece.
Riley O'Keefe to take it. Bunny Shaw, of course, one of the best targets in the country in the 6. Low ball in. Shaw trying for the diving header. Still loose, and it comes free to Clark.
You can see what they were trying to do there, although Shaw almost looked like she turned her head away and was trying to put it in almost with her back there.
Missouri defense let that one go completely. Rivers had to come out to play it. Toward Bielzak in the middle. Settles it down. Cross toward Shaw is knocked away. Hess mishandles Bielzak's effort right at Rivers.
Good effort from Bielzak. And well handled, like you said, by Rivers. I mean, that would be one you'd expect her to make the save. I mean, it was well struck, but it was straight at her, and she took it pretty nicely.
Again, though, the Missouri defense in midfield a little bit sloppy with these one touches.
Yeah, it was a little bit desperate at times there, wasn't it? But they live to fight another day, and they have not conceded. Coach Blitz certainly would want to get through the first 10 minutes without conceding a goal, and is beyond that now. So they've got to keep tight. But here come Tennessee again.
Gilroy working against Rachel Hayes. Cuts it back on the inside. Tried to shove it through for Shaw. Here she is on the right foot. Cross toward Vignola. Hayes is there. Her clearance, though, hits Polivka. It falls to Frick. Just panicky clearances from the Missouri defense. Nobody looks comfortable.
I think they're very unsettled by the physical presence of not just Shaw, but also Bielczyk too. Just the physical presence that Tennessee looks like it's unsettling Missouri. Although having said that, Polivka's in this real battle this afternoon with Shaw, and as you said before, we thought that might be Frick, but there was a little bit of bumping before Shaw even got to that ball. So Polivka's not showing that she's intimidated at all, and she's letting Shaw know that once again just there.
Trujillo fouled that time, and Missouri will have a free kick. And I wonder, Simon, if part of the reason for Polivka being in there, and we were a little bit surprised when we saw the team sheet, Polivka getting only her 3rd start. She didn't even play in Missouri's match on Thursday against Florida.
Yeah.
If part of the reason she's in there is that she is that more physical presence, 5'10", as opposed to Peyton Goulding's 5'6", and she has been following Khadijah Shaw like her shadow.
Yeah, she's absolutely, it looks like Coach Blitz is saying to Bryn, stay on her everywhere she goes, like you said, the shadow. And yeah, that physical presence, 5'10", so she's right there in Shaw's face. You can see it. And so far it's been a really interesting battle. And see, even now, off the ball, look, just the little bump and the touch saying, no, you're not going anywhere.
Polivka, 2-time first-team All-State selection in high school out of Visitation Academy near St. Louis. And she's regarded as being good in the air and a physical 1v1 player, and that sounds like the prototypical defender you want against somebody like Bunny Shaw.
And so far she's done well. I mean, we've talked about the physical matchup, but each time Shaw's sort of got the ball in the box, she's been able to push her wide of the goal, and that's also what you want. Usher Shaw away from the goal to make it so much harder for her to turn and get a shot in on target. And even now, look at this. The constant, and to me it seems like Shaw, maybe just Polivka's getting in her mind a little bit there.
Shaw bumped down there, but no call.
And you saw that just completely off the ball again, just a little bit of, not elbowing exactly, but
a bit of badgering maybe.
Handbags is what we call it in England. Just a little bit of handbags. Again, the arms, no, it wasn't a foul. There's no way, there wasn't even a lean in there. And now Shaw has got an injury by the looks of it here, Nate.
It's been an interesting start.
It has.
I suppose that's it's a credit to Khadijah Shaw and just how much she has taken the SEC by storm in a couple of months that Brian Blitz is changing his game plan significantly in order to account for her, even to the point of putting Polivka in when she had only 2 starts all season.
Yeah, it's hard to see. She didn't look like she went down very awkwardly, but and it's hard to see. It looks like she might be moving a little gingerly there.
Shaw did go out briefly
holding
with a slight injury against Ole Miss as well on Thursday night.
Yeah. Yeah, you wonder about that. Oh. I don't know what's happening there.
It does not look good.
No. Doesn't look good at all.
Kind of an odd reaction as well.
Yeah. Obvious concern from Coach Penske there.
I don't really know what to make of that situation. She almost looks a little bit unaware.
Yeah, maybe like she's sick or something, or
Yeah,
it's
like
hard to say, but yeah, we don't want to. Yeah.
The injury on Thursday against Ole Miss was a head injury, and you can see at least that they're giving her attention toward the forehead. We're not going to speculate on the nature of the injury, but that's at least something that happened just a few days ago, so maybe Tennessee taking a little extra care with that.
It's interesting, though, that none of the, we were talking about the physical battle with Polivka. There was, you know, and the elbowing and the arms, but nothing seemed to go towards her head at all, did it?
No.
So
I wonder maybe if Shaw came down awkwardly, but like you said, it seemed like she popped back up pretty quickly initially, and then all of a sudden started to struggle. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah. See, that's Mark Adams, the Mizzou team physician, is also over there.
Tennessee, number 2, Danielle Marcano in for number
Danielle
10.
Marcano comes in
Substituting for the Tigers, number 7,
Shaw.
and for number 14, Rachel
Immediately trying to assert her bit of energy, cleared away. Malata Sanmi in for Missouri. She's pursuing that one.
And did well.
And it's out for a goal kick. She replaces Rachel Hayes. Danielle Marcano started the season as a wingback. Then she was a right wing. She's played everywhere for Tennessee in her career with the exception of center back. Now she's up at striker. She's had a goal and an assist against Ole Miss. And Brian Penske talking to us this week was very high on her as a substitute for Shaw. Probably didn't expect to see her in this early, but still feels good about it.
Yeah, he'll have no qualms at all. Like you said, Nate, the only thing is just that, you know, losing Shaw would be a big blow and getting her in earlier than he would have expected. But yeah, he has no qualms about working Marcano into the game for sure. And she's still a big threat, and Missouri have to stay on their toes. But it's a shame for the game overall if Shura is not able to return to this game. We'll just have to see what happens.
One of the most dynamic players in the SEC.
Yeah, no doubt.
Riley O'Keefe, no slouch herself, feeds it toward Marcano, but Frick able to clear it off. Katie Cousins holds up possession so well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there were 2 players on her, but she wasn't panicked at all, just held on until that player came into view, laid off the ball, didn't lose it. Comfortable pass. That's exactly what she's there to do.
Good backtracking from Jessica Johnson to come away with the interception. And fouled by O'Keefe, so Missouri will have a free kick. And take a look back on Katie Cousins and the excellent play. These are the kinds of things that don't show up in the stat sheet. She has only a goal and an assist, but she might be Tennessee's most important player.
Exactly, and that's exactly the point that Coach Penske made to us the other day, which is why he loves her so much. For that kind of play, the last thing you want to do as a team is lose the ball in that kind of an area, because it sets up the other team for a fast break. But she hangs on to it, even with 2 players on her, and makes a comfortable pass.
Free kick from Rivers all the way to Yanez.
Rivers has a powerful leg on her, but she's got to do a better job into the box there. I mean, make the Tennessee defense work. That was pretty easy for Yanez, and now there's danger at the other end.
Marcano on the turn, has Vignola with her, fires away instead, and it's blocked by Frick.
Good block from Frick. That looked goal-bound. Certainly it was going to work Rivers, but Frick saved her the work.
Couple of substitutions for Missouri. Peyton Goulding coming in for Bryn Polivka, so maybe that adds a little bit more credence to the idea.
Also in for the Tigers, number 3, Peyton Goulding.
As we get a look at this replay and how much space there was
Looked like a good.
Marcano.
Yeah, she got plenty of power in it, didn't she?
But now with Goulding coming in, I wonder if that adds credence to the idea that Polivka was in there pretty much just to match up against Shaw. Now she gets a rest.
Yep, I think you're right.
Macy Trujillo also in for Missouri. But I think it's probably impossible to understate the importance of Katie Cousins to this team, because as much as Bunny Shaw is a spectacular player, and certainly she is, it doesn't really matter how good your attacking players are, especially your target striker, if you can't control the game and maintain possession in the midfield. And Katie Cousins controls the game almost by herself.
You're exactly right, Nate. If you don't have the ball, it doesn't matter. You can have the best striker anywhere. If you don't have the ball, you're not going to score. And that's why she's just as important, because her duty is to win the ball, keep the ball, distribute the ball. And you saw it actually just there, where she took it inside her own box, played a short pass to the open Tennessee defender. It's just calm thinking.
Over 20 minutes in, still goalless. Not a bad situation, all things considered, for Missouri.
I would say that Missouri will be very happy with the way it's gone so far. And they've had, a half chance as well in this game, which is as much as Tennessee have had as well. So I think if you'd have told Coach Blitz we'd be 22 minutes into this contest and it would be all square, he probably would have taken that for sure.
Lindsay Whitmore in for Mizzou, replaces Savannah Trujillo. Here's Allie Hess. Missouri has yet to maintain a whole lot of possession in the attacking third. A lot of those kind of passes, through balls looking for Jessica Johnson that have been just off target.
Good idea from Lubert. He's playing just a little deeper and out here on the right behind Johnson. You can see what she was trying to do, just roll it through. You see Johnson make the run. It was a good idea, just a bit too much on it.
Marcano steps past Goulding. In the middle of all the white shirts, Frick slides in at the last moment.
Fantastic last-ditch tackle. Just as Marcano was about to pull the trigger, in goes Anna Frick. She is so good. And again, when you leave your feet in the box as a defender, you have to get the ball. Otherwise, it's going to be a penalty kick. And I cannot tell you, every time Anna Frick does that, she gets the ball. Her timing is just perfect.
We've talked about Tennessee's issues defending set pieces, especially corner kicks, but the Volunteers also very dangerous in this situation. A little bit less so with Bunny Shaw out, but Katie Cousins can deliver a good one.
Yeah, this is
short
something
here.
Yeah, they've worked on this on the training ground, haven't they? But it didn't come off this time.
Ignola couldn't get it cleanly to Gilroy, and Goulding pursues her all the way toward the Missouri bench.
It's well defended by Missouri. Again, you could see maybe Missouri looked at some of the video and said, okay, what are they trying on set pieces here? And it looked to me like they'd seen that one before, because they were on it in a flash.
Not a lot of time for either one of these teams to prepare for the opposition. A quick turnaround playing Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah, here's a counter-attack chance.
Lubert with Clark running through. Can she play it into a little space? Instead cuts it back in. Toward Johnson. Clark. Back to Lubert in some space, and she scores!
There you go. What a great finish from Sarah Lubert. We talked about her left foot effort earlier, Nate, that went wide. That was more like Sarah Lubert from last year. What a fantastic finish. Left foot into the corner. I think it kissed the post as it went in. No chance for the keeper, and Missouri takes the lead.
Third goal of the season for Sarah Lubert, the sophomore sensation. Missouri 1 and Tennessee 0.
Key thing about that as well, it was Lubert that set up the break, and she ends up scoring. Good hit, in off the post, no chance for the keeper. She caught it absolutely beautifully. Look at that, good first touch, fires it in. And she started that move with the run, and we thought she'd come out wide, but to her credit, she checked, cut inside, and set up the move. Really nice approach play for that goal as well from Missouri, and a fantastic finish from Sarah Lubert back on the score sheet. What a lift for Missouri, Nate, with 20 minutes to go in the half.
Now a 1-0 Mizzou advantage. Tennessee has not trailed at the half in any of their 13 matches so far this season, so maybe it would put a little bit of doubt into that Volunteers dressing room if Missouri could take this advantage all the way into halftime.
Yeah, and this is a new situation, as you said, for them. They haven't trailed. So, how do they deal now with this situation? How does Coach Penske get his team to deal with this situation? One that they're so unfamiliar with. And on the other hand, how does Coach Blitz now get Missouri to just concentrate hard? keep working as hard as they've been working. See if they can maybe create another chance. And now Lubert's back on the score sheet. Her confidence is going to be flowing at this point.
A run from Gilroy. Slide challenge from Adasanmi. Falls to Bielzak, and her effort is well high.
And Bielzak knows, you can see, head in hands, that she should have done better with that. High and wide and not very handsome.
For number 7, Mignola. Also substituting for the Volunteers, number 6, Ariel Kupritz. And for number 5, Erin Gilroy.
Lubert's third goal of the year, as we mentioned. And I wonder, Simon, if maybe that will give her a little bit more confidence. It feels like not only has she not been scoring, she's been waiting for one of those, a really clean opportunity when she could strike the ball the way she wanted to.
Absolutely, Nate. But we did talk before about her mindset, though. She's a perfect example of a Brian Blitz coach team. Even though things weren't going that great for her this season in terms of goal scoring, she keeps working, she keeps working, she keeps her head up, she keeps creating for the rest of her team. And that's initially what she was doing with the start of that move. She got on the end of it, and yeah, you're right, it was a super clean hit, beautiful finish. And yeah, and here's another great chance.
Sneaks through to Johnson, trying to get past Yanez, who did very well with the right foot.
Yanez did well there. I thought Johnson was going to take the touch and shoot, and in the end she tried to take a second touch, and that just gave Yanez enough time to get in there and make the save. What a chance for Missouri to go 2 up.
Look back at how this was set up.
Long
Peyton Joseph
ball.
playing the long ball, and it just snuck through.
Big mistake there. And yeah, she just took 2 touches there, maybe just 1 touch and shoot, and it was the second touch that let her down. But in the end there, I think it was Maya Neal who had the miss kick there and just kind of whiffed at it, and Johnson was in on goal in a flash. Oh, what a golden chance for Missouri to be 2 up, and now they've got some defending to do at the other end.
Tennessee looking for an equalizer. Riley O'Keefe to take the corner. Had her well wide from Ariel Kupritz into the game at the front for Tennessee, along with Megan Flynn taking over for Gilroy and Vignola.
And Tennessee, as we said, 11 wins this season. They've already got as many wins this season as last season. They're coming off a game where they did score 6 the other night, but conceded 4. And I just get the feeling here that things aren't quite clicking for them this afternoon. They've lost their most potent attacker already, and they've had a couple of half chances, but the shots have either been scuffed or not taken well. They've snatched at it a little bit. So it's not quite clicking, and Missouri have taken advantage. And in fact, at the moment, Tennessee can consider themselves pretty lucky not to be 2 down, because they really should be after that chance from Johnson. And here goes Lubert again.
Lubert feeling good now. Johnson tried to squeak it through to Lubert.
You could see just wasn't enough on the pass.
Trujillo to Clark. Grace Kitts in for Missouri, along with Lauren Gaston. McKinley Burkett on for Tennessee. There is Burkett supplying Mercado. Try to get it back, but a good slide from Macy Trujillo to knock that one away. Not the kind of match in which Tennessee has often been involved.
Exactly, and so now Tennessee, as you were mentioning before, Nate, they're not used to trailing. So how do they deal with this mentally? They really, what they need to do is stay calm and just keep playing their game, and it'll come, you know. That's what happens with the team who've won 11 games this season. But I just see some signs, as we just mentioned, of them snatching at things a little bit, and not panicking, that's the wrong word, but just, you know, they probably need to take a deep breath.
Maybe just a touch of anxiety that hasn't been
anxiety,
there.
That's the word. Yeah, that's the perfect word. Just, yeah, a little bit of anxiety, and that's exactly what you can see in the way they're playing at the moment. And what can Coach Penske do to just get them to take that deep breath and say, look, you know, we're an 11-win team. Let's get back to playing like one.
All of a sudden, Mo Adasanmi is all over the park.
And Missouri are looking dangerous now every time they come forward here. They've really got the bit between their teeth at the moment.
McKinley Burkett squeezes past Kitts. Goulding on the challenge. Awkward, but able to knock it away.
And again there, just some bad decision making. Burkett had a couple of options for a pass there, elected to try and go through 2 defenders and didn't make it work. And here comes Missouri.
Whitmore's effort.
Bad effort. Made the keeper work.
Whitmore has just the 1 goal this season. It came all the way back against San Diego State. the game winner for the freshman out of Henderson, Nevada. See the numbers on Shea Yanez, one of the best keepers in all of the country, let alone the SEC. Did struggle a bit, especially in the second half against Ole Miss.
I think maybe, against Ole Miss, they conceded a couple of goals very quickly, and before you knew it, they conceded 4. And I thought Yanez, after looking so good all season, just had a couple of dodgy moments, especially with balls in the air, and was beaten from a shot from, 38 yards.
Casey Clark, a long-range
we
effort.
talked about that. Caitlin Clark, who's not afraid to shoot from anywhere, goes for goal from fully 30-odd yards there. Just as we were talking about that slight weakness possibly in Yanez's game.
Clark looks a little bit shaken up.
Yeah, not looking too happy there either.
Maybe more frustrated than anything.
Yeah. It was worth a go, but she needed to make sure it was on target there.
Sarah Lubert out and Bella Alessi checks in. Only the 9th time she has appeared in a game this year. She did sub on against Florida briefly, freshman out of Fort Collins, Colorado. Fast, versatile player. She'll play pretty much anywhere up and down the wing, from the back spot all the way up to the forwards.
And Zoe Cross also into the game now as well. And I like her too. She's a very technically gifted player on the ball, got a very cultured left foot. And if Missouri can get her the ball, we'll see if she can create something here.
Here's Whitmore. She has good speed to Kitts. Holds off Maya Neal, but not Katie Cousins.
Cousins did very well there. It's probably
Cousins
a foul.
taken down by Kitts, gets the foul.
A little bit of frustration from Kitts, but again, Cousins breaking up what looked like a dangerous build-up on the edge of the box there, and that's why she's there.
Cousins could get frustrating, couldn't she? Only 5 feet tall, and she's kind of poking in around your feet.
Yeah, she's a terrier out there, I love those kind of players. As we mentioned, the kind of player who just isn't worried about any of the glory. He's just a workhorse. Coaches love those kind of players as well.
Well played by Kupritz to Mercado. Open right foot. It short hops awkwardly to Rivers, who did pretty well to get her body behind it.
Those short hop shots are brutal, that bounce right in front of you. But Rivers could see there was no Tennessee forward coming in on her, so she was, get your body behind it, just make sure you block it, and then pick it up cleanly on the rebound.
Alessi after this one with Josie Jennings. Early on, you could see the kind of Tennessee we expected, a team that was going to really get forward on the break, push the tempo. There's been a little too much space at times, probably for Brian Blitz's liking, but in general, Missouri has done a really good job of turning this into more of a possession midfield passing game.
Yeah, he and his team have done him proud this afternoon. I mean, they struggled in the first half against Florida. We're probably lucky, Missouri, not to be more than 2 goals down at halftime against Florida the other night. It all keyed on that penalty save from Rivers we talked about earlier. And then Missouri really got themselves together in the second half, got it back to 2-1 against the number 9 team in the nation, and were unlucky not to get back and tie it. And now they've carried on where they left off against Florida, put in an excellent shift so far.
Kupritz down for Christie just into the game. Back to Kupritz on Adesanya.
Well defended.
Tennessee corner.
Well defended. Missouri have been excellent so far, and they're well worth their goal lead. And Tennessee, as we said, just not quite clicking. What can they do here? Another set-piece opportunity for them.
Michelle Christie to take it, the redshirt senior from Loveland, Ohio. Mentioned earlier she had that game-winning goal against Missouri last year. Higher this time toward the 6. That was begging to be hit solidly with a forehead. In the end, it's a good left-footed effort, but Rivers there on the dive.
It was a good save from Rivers. I don't know if she saw much about that. It was a good effort, and it looked like it came through a couple of defenders, so she probably didn't see it till late. Not only did she get down, but she held it cleanly with all those players in the box. Very important that she held onto it.
Good effort from McKinley Burkett, one of the top recruited freshmen in the country. Out of Moseley, Virginia, scored 175 high school goals. She's very comfortable in the penalty area.
Get a look at this. Yeah, look at the shot. Comes through a bunch of legs there. Well defended and well saved. She did not see that till late. So difficult for goalkeepers when a shot comes along the ground like that, at pace, through that forest of legs. It's a good ball. Cross is going to try and get there. Cousins is, look, beautiful from Cousins. Look at that. Not only, you'd probably make Cross favorite to get to that, Cousins not only swung the ball back around, but then just laid off the pass. No bother at all. That's just a perfect example of the way she plays. Good touch though from Cross there. That's a pretty good ball. Nobody attacking it though. I mean, that's exactly where you want that ball from Alessi, right along the 6-yard box, but nobody attacking it for Missouri.
Probably a part of the game that is generally underrated by a casual fan, right? The Katie Cousins bringing that ball down and controlling it so beautifully and so easily, and how, because it doesn't really look like a highlight if you don't know how difficult that is to do. Yeah,
and just now she brought the ball down again, won a couple of challenges and laid it off to a teammate. So yeah, you're exactly right. It's not one of the highlights that's going to make that highlight reel, but it's so important. It's a vital part of the game.
Sloppy foul there gives away the Tennessee free kick. Michelle Christie, redshirt senior, savvy on the freshman Lindsay Whitmore, and got hit in the back, just went down.
And you're right, it was a sloppy foul. I mean, there was no need at all to give that foul away. Just stand up, no need to barge in, and now this is another dangerous situation that Missouri have to defend against here. I mean, right here, it's Caitlin Clark comes across. Just no need to barge into her. She's got her back to goal. She's in the corner. There's no need to go into her like that.
Cousins on the free kick. A low liner past everybody, just over the head of McKinley Burkett, and out for a Mizzou goal kick.
And Missouri escape. And again, didn't quite happen, did it, for Tennessee there? Fired into the box again, but nobody on the end of it. Missouri at this point, Coach Blitz will really be saying, come on, keep it tight at the back. Concentrate. We want to take this lead in at the half. Let's not let them back in. Let's make Tennessee go in at halftime trailing. Let's give them all of halftime to think about the fact, hey, we're losing here.
Only goal for Missouri, Sarah Lubert in the 25th minute.
And it was a beauty as well, wasn't it? Talking about the highlight reel, that'd probably make it.
Now Missouri trying to hold on with the lead into the half. Once again, as we mentioned, Tennessee has not trailed yet this season at the half.
Yeah, so that's what Coach Blitz will be really wanting to say. Let's get them in at the half trailing. Let's give them 15 minutes to think about it a bit more. See how they react to it. But that's going to require getting through these next 7.5 minutes for the Tigers.
Marcano out wide to Ariel Kupritz. Passed out of Sanmi, but the cross blocked away. See if Mo can get there. It's still a corner, I believe. Yeah, she nearly made that a throw-in.
Adesanya is such a tough physical player. Plays with the leg brace and
a little bit slow to get up.
Slow getting up. In fact, does she have the brace there? No.
Don't think she's wearing it today, but a lot of the Missouri players have worn those.
Yeah. She's up, moving. She's another player for Missouri at the back who is not going to be physically intimidated by this. The big physical presence that this Tennessee team have coming forward.
Toward Rivers, just too high for her. Kupritz keeps it in.
Rivers wasn't super convincing there, was she? Oh,
it's a couple of efforts. It falls to Kupritz, but her shot well wide of the upright.
She could have done a lot better with that as the ball bounced back to her in the box. But again, for Tennessee, didn't quite happen.
Seems like one Missouri cross after another is hitting a teammate or hitting a Tennessee player and staying in the box. And I wonder if that's a symptom of the fact that Missouri defenders are panicking just a little bit, not really picking their heads up. They're just whacking it.
Yeah, take that extra split second and clear it, you know. You see, but she didn't wrap her head around it at all, foot around it at all, did she? And again, more evidence that it's just not quite coming off for Tennessee, and Tiger fans will be quite happy about that.
Have a stoppage in play. Ariel Kupritz was shaken up. And it's going to turn into a de facto injury break for both teams, it would appear. Been a little bit of a slower first half than we would have expected, I think, all things considered.
Yeah, I think probably the loss of Shaw early in this game, you know, sort of threw Tennessee off their stride just a little bit. Their usual target striker was out of the game, so they had to readjust, and they've not really readjusted very well so far. You know, Missouri have had a couple of half chances, then they've scored a really beautiful goal, a goal that Lubert helped start the move and then finished it. And Missouri fans will be so gratified to see her back on the score sheet.
See those 13 Tennessee shots, but only so many for the Vols have been on target.
Right, exactly.
There's Bella Lessie.
Rivers has had, what, maybe 3 or 4 where she's actually had to work.
And Missouri will be happy to play this kind of game. Just possess the ball down toward Tennessee's end. See how much of the remaining 5 minutes and change they can run off.
Yeah, I'd say too. Get the ball to Cross if you're Missouri. See what she can do. She's very creative with the ball at her feet.
Not afraid to let it fly from just about anywhere.
Right.
Here's Kitts. Trying to turn away. Did well that time.
Good ball too.
There's Cross. She was held up a bit by Maya Neal.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Maybe just off balance. Yeah. Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah, it looked to me though like Neal had her arms around her waist there, but nice work there from Relihan, wasn't it? Brought it down, tucked it inside.
That one goes all the way back to Kristen Rivers. Caitlin Clark has been very quick to go all the way back to Rivers.
Yeah, she's been going back. You got to be careful. I mean, she's playing a back pass from inside the opposition's half a couple of times. So, you know, she's got the peripheral vision really has to be on.
All of a sudden, though, with these injuries to Tennessee at the front, it feels like the Volunteers are having a lot more trouble maintaining possession, and now the game has shifted to the Tennessee end, whereas it was the midfield or even more in Missouri's half for most of this opening 40 minutes or so.
I am not seeing this free-scoring Tennessee team that we've been seeing the last couple, especially in the last game so far. And yeah, they've had a shake-up early, they had to reorganize, but here's Cousins.
See if Cousins tries to push forward a little bit more to get this offense going.
Wins the ball, holds onto it, and then a beautiful ball out wide.
Megan Flynn have to watch out for her left foot. There's the cross, and it goes through everybody. All the way out to Maddie Hairston. Doesn't play a whole lot. She's in because of the injury to Kupritz. That one comes free to Burkett, but over the bar.
She should have scored. Difficult chance, but couldn't get over it. And again, all of that created by Cousins. Winning the ball, spraying it wide. That was a good chance, though, again for the Volunteers. But as we talked about, the shots on target was not on target. You see the ball come in, it's a lovely cross. She's inside, difficult chance to keep it down, but from that range, she should have kept it on target. Difficult, but nonetheless, couldn't get it on target, and a let-off for Missouri. And Alasanmi's out of the game now, I think, feeling that injury from before.
Yeah, Lizzie Acree in. Both sides reaching deeper into their depth than they normally would. Salera Jordan in for Tennessee up top, replacing Mercado, who all of a sudden needs a little break because, as far as we can tell, she might have to play a significant portion of the second half. That one's to Kitts. She takes a hard shoulder from Neal and goes down.
Firm but fair. That's how the game's been.
Now Megan Flynn can't keep it in.
Missouri have been excellent, just giving as good as they get here, and you see it. Here's the pass, here's the challenge. Yep, it's a fair challenge.
Here's Hairston.
With 2.5 minutes to go here, this is where Missouri really, they were close to giving up an equalizer a minute ago. They need to keep it tight. If you're a Tiger fan, that's what you'll be hoping here.
Cross and Clark squeezed her off the ball.
Could they even snatch another one here?
Alessi has some space against Jennings. Now Kitts with Akers in the middle.
But it's 2 against 6.
She tries from long range. Might as well have a go.
Yeah, I mean, Missouri are at home, and I realize they're protecting a lead, but really they probably should have thrown a bit more caution to the wind there. There were 2 against 6 defenders there. You know, it would have been good to see Relihan and Cross get forward with a bit more conviction there and help out their teammates. I mean, that was the only option, was to shoot from 20-odd yards.
Frankly, Missouri doesn't really have a striker in right now. Grace Kitts is sort of playing that role.
Not a conventional striker, right.
She and Cross are both center midfielders.
That's a great pass.
Rivers comes all the way out to claim it.
Good goalkeeping from Rivers, though. She was onto it in a flash. She had to be. And that's a pretty good ball into the corner, too.
Aggressively using that space, and if nothing else, Missouri now can try to push some numbers forward. The Tigers very tentative to do so here in the late minutes.
They're very tentative. Again here, you see a throw-in down. 1 or 2 players now casually rolling forward, but Missouri will take their time with this. I mean, we're down to 1 minute and 20. They'll want to hang on to this lead going into the half, as we talked about earlier.
Zoe Cross to Lauren Gaston. Haven't seen a whole lot of her on the ball. Not a bad ball, but Literally
attacking
zero
it. Yeah,
white shirts in the penalty area.
Exactly right. It was not a bad ball at all. Swinging back into the 6-yard box, nobody attacking it.
Normally there's only one or two. There was literally not a single Missouri shirt anywhere inside the box. Coming up at halftime, we'll take a look around the other matches in the SEC as we move into the second half of the conference schedule. And of course, plenty of first half highlights and analysis.
Foul throw there. I mean, that's the thing. Missouri really don't want to turn it over with something that simple. Clark again going back to her keeper.
And Rivers has been pretty good. She had that early scare from Shaw.
She's been good. She's been very solid this afternoon, and that should be enough to see Missouri to the half.
Into the final 25 seconds. The 25th minute goal from Sarah Lubert still standing up.
Good work from Clark.
Now Kitts out wide to Alessi, and that should do it for the remainder of the half. We'll see if Alessi wants to try something.
I'd say 10 seconds, try it. They're not going to score here, so go for it.
Kitts a long-range effort, and easy for Yanez. That will take us to halftime. Sarah Lubert's goal has a surprise scoreline. Missouri 1 and the 21st ranked Tennessee Volunteers 0 on this Sunday afternoon here in Como. Missouri trying to snap a 4-match losing streak. And certainly this would be doing it in style against one of the hottest teams in the country.
Missouri have been excellent. I think they've really come out with a plan today. They've stuck to it, executed it well. They're good value for their 1-goal lead, and a great goal it was too from Sarah Lubert.
Plenty more coming up at the half. Be sure to stay tuned right here at Walton Stadium in Como, where it's 1-0 Missouri over Tennessee at the half. Back in a moment. You're watching college soccer on the SEC Network. Back in Columbia, where it's a surprise 1-0 lead for Missouri over 21st ranked Tennessee at the half. Nate Gatter and Simon Rose with you here on our halftime report. We thank you for staying with us on this Sunday. Take a look, as we showed you in the open, at the SEC standings. And Simon, certainly this would be a huge victory for Missouri. The Tigers are getting toward a make-or-break point in their season if they want to save things.
Yeah, absolutely, Nate. We talked about it at the beginning of the program before the game kicked off, that if Missouri wants to haul themselves up the standings, they had to do something today. Well, 45 minutes in, they are doing something today. They are leading against all the odds against the Tennessee team that is really just flying at the moment, but it's not quite been happening for them today, and Missouri's taking full advantage.
And I think it would be easy for Missouri fans to start to get nervous about this team not having lost 4 matches in a row now, and maybe miss that the 2-1 loss at Florida, the 9th-ranked team in the country, always one of the teams at the top of the SEC. Really not a bad result, considering how the Tigers could have been back in that game in the second half.
Exactly. They were very close to getting back into the game in the second half, and Florida are already up. We hear 3-0 today already, so you can see what a good effort it was in the second half for Missouri, but they've continued that second half into the first half today, and that's what Coach Blitz would really have wanted to see, and that's what he's got from his team.
Busy Sunday around the rest of the SEC as well. Florida,
there is that
no
Florida
surprise,
score.
Up 3-0 on Vanderbilt, but that shows you the kind of improvement Missouri had, losing 5-3 to Vanderbilt, then only 2-1 to Florida, a team clearly showing today on the road much better than the Commodores.
Yeah, and a much improved Vanderbilt team this year too, who are right at the top of the standings against a lot of people's forecasts. So really, yeah, you can see just what an improved second half that was from Missouri against Florida, who are flying today.
Missouri out to a 1-0 lead on Tennessee on the strength of a 25th-minute goal from Sarah Lubert, her 3rd goal of the season, trying to get Missouri's fortunes turned. Tigers trying to snap a 4-match losing streak against one of the hottest teams in the country. Back in a moment at the half. Halftime at Walton Stadium in Columbia, where Tennessee has outshot Missouri 14-7 in the first half, but Missouri has the only goal from Sarah Lubert. 1-0 Tigers at the half.
There will be alligators. Ninja warrior. And classroom chaos. See what I'm cooking up? You're the pressure is on. Oh, heck yeah! Gonna be lit, lit. Logan Paul versus baby. Only on one.
Most players average 20 minutes of ice time a night. He can go over 200. He is a professional hockey player. Watch it. With NHL center ice, he gets up to 40 out of market games a week. And with Xfinity X1, he can track scores and stats right on his TV, all while watching his favorite team. Become a pro fan. Only with Xfinity X1 from Comcast. Order NHL center ice for a great low price. Call or go online today.
Back on a gorgeous Sunday in Columbia, Missouri, where things could not be going much better for the hometown Tigers. A surprise 1-0 lead over 21st ranked Tennessee at the half. Nate Gaddard and Simon Rose back with you to take a look at the highlights from the opening 45 minutes here at Walton Stadium. A lot of physical play early on, Simon.
Yeah, we expected it. Two physical sides, and Missouri wanting to show they're not going to be intimidated by the physicality of Tennessee. And that battle was a great one with Shaw there, wasn't it?
And then Khadijah Shaw reportedly was stung by a bee on her forehead, and that's what forced her to leave the game.
We were a bit worried because she kind of went down, didn't she, sort of off the ball, and here's one of the chances that she had before that. But yeah, apparently a bee got her.
Missouri's goal, some excellent passing, and then Sarah Lubert, a tremendous finish.
Sarah Lubert started the move back deep in Tennessee territory, but then found its way to Katie Clark. Nice square ball. What a finish from Lubert.
Third goal of the season for Sarah Lubert. She has been much quieter this year than she was in her freshman campaign, but she came through to make it 1-0 Mizzou. You can see those shots numbers that I mentioned earlier. Tennessee 14, Missouri only 7, but the Volunteers having trouble putting them on target, and Tennessee conceded the only goal. Missouri's Lubert finishing off.
We just have talked, Nate, about the fact it's just not quite clicking for Tennessee, and that shows as well. 14 shots, but only 3 on goal. Missouri, half as many shots, 3 on goal, the same amount, but of course the all-important one of them went in, and it was an absolute cracker from Sarah Lubert, just kissing the post, unstoppable shot, and Missouri full value for that 1-goal lead. They've been excellent in this first half.
Just a couple of minutes until the second half kickoff. Sarah Lubert and Missouri trying to snap a 4-match losing streak and upset the 21st ranked Tennessee Volunteers. 1-0 Tigers at the half.
It's on. Like Donkey Kong.
I love to play games.
Hit reset and go back to the beginning.
This is how Mario got his love.
8-bit legacy. The curious history of video games. Only unwatchable.
I've never heard of roller derby in my life.
This is me dancing.
We got skill.
There you go. How many cholos you know, sir?
Cholos belong solid ground. Cholos try.
Season 2.
Only unwatchable.
You're watching college soccer on the SEC Network, and we're back for the second half here at Walton Stadium in Columbia. Nate Gatter and Simon Rose with you. A 1-0 Missouri lead over 21st-ranked Tennessee, a team that has only one loss all season. It came against third-ranked South Carolina. And Simon, for the first time this year in 13 matches, Tennessee is trailing at the halftime break.
Yeah, and so we were talking about this going into halftime, Nate, as well. How did they deal with the fact that not only are they trailing, but they had the whole of halftime to sit and think about the fact, hey, we're losing. And that other loss you were talking about was a really tough one to South Carolina that went to overtime. And as we talked with Coach Penske earlier in the week, they were very unlucky to lose that game. So how are they dealing with it? How did they deal? It's a whole new thing, a whole new dynamic for Coach Penske at halftime for this season with his team trailing. So what I expect to see is that he'll have put a fire under him and they'll be quick out of the traps here once the game kicks off. I noticed too that Shaw is back in the game. Savage Insects notwithstanding, she'll want to make up for lost time because she did not come back in the whole of the half, but that's got to be really tough on her. I mean, a bee sting is never much fun anyway, but in the face, so she is out there again. So Missouri are going to be back to the way they started this game, I would imagine.
And she certainly looked dangerous early on. You can see those goals numbers speak for themselves. And she was her usual self until that bee sting happened. But what do you know, as you said, Simon, Bryn Polivka back in on the back line for Missouri, and she will be attaching herself to Shaw's hip just as she did for the opening 20 minutes or so.
So we enjoyed that for the first 20 minutes, the battle between Shaw and Polivka, because it was just a really interesting, very physical one. And now battle has been resumed here at the beginning of the second half, and there it is right there. And I'm not sure if Polivka has bees on her side or what, but it earned her a well-earned rest, didn't it?
Yeah, both players are fresh, so they should be ready to go at each other here to start the second half. They're already
look
right back into the jostling.
The jostling has already started. Look at that.
Shaw holding her off, finds cutting O'Keefe in some space, negotiates into the penalty area. Out wide, Vignola. Her cross, plenty of orange shirts. That one's knocked away, though. Moat Asanmi held in there.
It's a good-looking cross, actually, and Rivers couldn't quite get there. And as we said, Tennessee eager to make up for lost time here. They're going to push forward a little bit here. The key for them is to be urgent without being careless.
Quite a few changes for Missouri, though, in the second half lineup. Moat Asanmi remains in, as you just saw. Here's O'Keefe against Madison Lewis. Vignola against Joseph. Her cross knocked away by Frick for a Tennessee corner. Zoe Cross, Grace Kitts also remaining in for Missouri. Rachel Highs out from the initial starting lineup, along with Savannah Trujillo and Caitlin Clark.
Good block from Frick there. Missouri continuing to leave two players up, though, here.
Low corner.
That's a real waste.
Nowhere near where it needed to be.
You can see again, Tennessee going for what, when it works, is very dangerous. Firing that ball into the penalty area from a corner, which just requires a touch if you get it right. But O'Keefe just totally hooking that one. And again, another example of how it's just not quite coming off for Tennessee. And Missouri fans will hope that continues here in this second half, like it did in the first.
Jennings had it stolen away by Johnson to Lubert and just over the bar. Sarah Lubert with her right foot and just a little too high.
And again, sloppy at the back there from Tennessee, and Johnson was onto them in a flash, pulled it back for Lubert, and Lubert wasn't too far away. Good pullback. She just got under it a little bit. It was on target, but she just was leaning back and got it over the top. But another early side of goal there for Sarah Lubert.
That's what we expected to see. Maybe a little bit more confidence from her after such a terrific strike in the first half for the lone goal.
Absolutely, and it was really good work from Johnson there too to capitalize on that sloppiness at the back for Tennessee, and a bit of a wake-up call there for Tennessee, who could easily be 2 down here.
Here's Anna Bialzak. Now Katie Cousins venturing forward a little bit more than she did in the first half.
I think that's as far forward as we've seen her the whole game, isn't it?
Now Shaw, Polivka marking her as always toward the middle, and Rivers is there to clean it up.
Good goalkeeping from Rivers there.
She and Bialzak collided, and Anna Bialzak is down in the goal.
I think Bialzak hurt herself coming down in the goal because she didn't touch Rivers, I didn't think. But she's up and moving again. I didn't think she touched Rivers, but Rivers is down too. There must have been some kind of contact. Oh, yeah. There was a... Oh, the referee's given a free kick. I wonder if there was an arm up here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Maybe a clip of heads, possibly. Good goalkeeping for Rivers, though. When a goalkeeper goes up unprotected like that, oftentimes they know they're going to get clattered. She didn't get clattered, but she did get clipped. Good goalkeeping, nonetheless. Now, Rivers is going to come up and take this kick. This time she's got to be better about it. Last time it went straight to the opposition keeper. This time she's got to make the Tennessee defense work. If she's going to go long, which I suspect she probably is here. You know, make Tennessee work to clear this. Don't just put it in the arms of the opposition keeper.
Deep again, Kitts is there this time. And it was her header across the goal. Johnson able to keep it in for a moment, but it's out for a goal kick.
Much better. In fact, that was a great chance, actually. Rivers this time keeping it away from the keeper. Good header down into the danger area, but nobody quite on the end. Look at the header down. Really good header down. Oh, just perfectly weighted. That's exactly where you'd want it to drop, on the edge of the 6-yard box, right in front of the goal, but nobody there. Johnson just a step behind it.
You wonder if that's a situation where Rivers having such a big leg, as we talked about, actually works against her. She has to work on finding the right touch, maybe finesse. Giving it 80%.
You're exactly right. I mean, she's got to give it the finesse, and she did that time, and it was a great half chance. I mean, if there'd just been somebody snooping around there on the edge of the 6-yard box, it would have been a golden opportunity for Missouri.
There's Johnson. Now Cross, a little long for her, and Bialzak tracks back to take it away.
Cross has that long, rangy stride, but she's not that fast. Good tackle.
On the turn, but Polivka slides in. She is not afraid of anything.
Yeah, that was excellent work from Polivka. Looked like Shaw was away from her, but got that leg in. Now she's got to stay with her as she goes into the box here.
Vignola trying to find a cross, but Joseph is there for the tackle.
It's good defending again from Missouri. They are just tenacious this afternoon.
Now O'Keefe's turn. Joseph there again. Cross off the head of Jessica Johnson.
Yeah, that was one. But Johnson was tracking her marker there, so didn't see it coming and took it right in the side of the head. Those hurt a lot. Especially, you know, when you don't see it coming like that, it's like somebody giving you a cheap shot. See, she's tracking her marker, boom. Yeah.
And now the ball right back at Johnson's feet as Missouri tries to come out on the fast break. Good numbers here. Cross alone in the middle, but Johnson can't get it to her.
Yeah, she should have played the ball early. She had Cross out here, who was open and in some space, and Kitts as well, who was in some space. She elected to go herself instead of squaring it.
Here's Lubert. Takes some contact from Jennings, a little more from Vignola, but lost it out of bounds.
Tennessee playing Lubert just like all the other teams have been playing her that we've seen this year. When the ball comes to Lubert, now they know about her. She's so fast, so quick on the turn, so good with the ball at her feet. A defender is on her immediately, and then a second defender on her almost immediately. So there's always two people coming to her to try and defend against the threat that she poses.
Low corner from Cross, cleared away by Cousins. But Zoe will have another chance to cross it in here.
She tried to get it on her left foot. Well defended, though.
Joseph floats it in. Awkward for Yanez. She gave up a goal on a very similar ball on that free kick against Ole Miss on Thursday night from much longer range, but one that came in at a steep angle like that and just snuck over her head and in. This time she's able to clean it up.
She did. I thought she looked just a little rocky at times. I don't know if that's because she, like the rest of her team, at a certain point in that game, once they got up, 3 goals, really took their foot off the gas and went to sleep a little bit and switched off. And before they knew it, they were in trouble. Here's a chance. Oh, offside.
Johnson called offside.
It's a late-ish flag there, but Coach Blitz did not like it either.
And he's basically in the same spot the referee's assistant was. He would have had a good view.
Yeah, probably a bit more of a partisan view, but he was certainly right there to be in the ear of the referee's assistant over there.
Brian Blitz, Missouri's 22nd year head coach, never afraid to let the referee's assistant know if he disagrees.
Never. And I think what maybe it wasn't so much, Nate, the fact of the call, was she or was she not offside. I think it was more how late the flag was.
Good turn. Bielzak has some space on the right foot. Top of the box, and Rivers there for the save.
Fantastic save. Bielzak, for the first time, really got away from the Missouri defense, made herself room. Nice hit. And a good save from Rivers going to her right. And it was a well-hit shot, curling away from her. Excellent work from Rivers. She again picking up where she left off in the second half against Florida the other night. And I think the penalty save that she made against Florida, which has really sort of turned Missouri's fortunes around, at least so far, she kept it up there. That was an excellent save, diving away to her right from a well-hit shot.
You can see the skyrocketing confidence for the redshirt senior keeper. Neither keeper has been able to build up a whole lot of confidence. Neither one had even played a full game through the first dozen matches. Now Rivers playing the full 90, or at least we expect if she finishes out the second half, for the second straight game, and playing with some real authority that you expect from someone in her 5th year with the program.
Yeah, and that save there justifying Coach Blitz's decision to go with her again in that starting role. It's an excellent save.
Towards Shaw with Polivka right on her. Did well to bring it down and turn toward the end line. Low cross, and Hess there to clear it away. But there are questions being asked right now, the Missouri back line, and they have only responded so well so far.
That's the first time I think I remember Shaw getting away from Polivka in the game. Now, of course, Shaw was out a lot of the first half, but that's the first time she got away from her. But Hess was there to clear up any damage.
Bielzak turns it in. Vignola an open look, and Rivers there again.
What a fantastic save that was.
Kristen Rivers once and then twice.
But that one, Nate, so much more difficult because it was hit beautifully and it was down low to her right. She had so much more to do there on that save than the other one. The other one was at a fairly good height for a keeper to get across. But this time, lovely little touch. You think Tennessee equalizer, what a save. Down to her right, beautifully struck shot.
Couldn't have done much better. Bielzak did perfectly to drop that in Vignola's path, who got just about all of it on the first touch.
There's nothing she would have done differently if you gave it to her again, but what a great save from Rivers. Down like a flash to her right, beating it away.
5th save already today.
That should have been a free kick, I thought, right in front of the referee. There was a little nudge there. But
Here's
Tennessee
Vignola.
Smelling blood here.
Cuts it back on the left foot this time, and this one's by Rivers.
Nothing Rivers could do about that one. Great run from Vignola. She was given too much room. Missouri let her run and then let her check, turn back into the box. Sweet hit on the left foot, right into the corner. Nothing Rivers could do about that one.
Mary Alice Vignola, the sophomore from Cincinnati, her 3rd goal of the season. This time on the left foot, she cut it back, went to a similar spot, and Rivers couldn't quite get there.
Let her run. Cut it back. Frick couldn't get across to her, and once she cut it back, as soon as she hit it, Rivers was not going to get to that. It was beautiful, right into the corner. Nothing the keeper could do about that, and it's all square. And now, which way is this game going to go? Can Missouri get themselves back on top? They deserve their lead, but as we suspected, and was pretty obvious, Tennessee have really come out this half trying to make amends for their misfire of a first half. And here they come again.
Gilroy cut
Big trouble here.
And Rivers there for the save.
Rivers was in the right place, but
all of a sudden the Missouri defense has become a sieve.
Yeah. Just again there, the cutback was there, space in the box. Fortunately, if you're a Missouri fan, the shot right at the keeper.
One chance after another. This is looking like the highly potent Tennessee attack we saw on Thursday night against Ole Miss.
Yeah, and Rivers had kept him at bay, really. She's made one great save, and truly outstanding save, but then nothing she could do about the goal. It was truly third time lucky, wasn't it, for Tennessee in this half? And that third shot, they knew it was going to be something special, but here's a mistake.
Costly turnover.
Away here.
Lubert has space with Gunnar on her back. Pass Niels, he's taken down for a penalty.
Lubert, so fast, cuts into the box. The thing I love about her is once she gets turned around and is going for goal, she is going for goal. And that speed, Tennessee couldn't cope with it. The little touch and a rash challenge, defender diving in there. Yeah, it's Neal, wasn't it? Diving in onto the left, didn't get the ball at all.
Lubert to take it. Missouri's first free kick of the year. Tigers converted 3 out of 5 last year.
Big pressure kick this, Nate. So
Lubert's first PK of her career. And she scores. 2-1 to Mizzou.
How calm was that?
Make it a double for Sarah Lubert. Had only 2 goals coming into this match. She has 2 here this afternoon, and the Tigers are back on top.
And Coach Penske will be, I think, very unhappy with the way his team, because it's just sort of a continuation for what happened to them the other night. They got back into the game, they get themselves ahead, and then they switched off. Tennessee, it was almost like, yeah, we're back in this. This is only going to go one way now. They switched off at the back, made a mistake. Lubert was onto it in a flash. She's the one brought down in the box. And wow, what a cool penalty that was. And Missouri are back ahead. What a game we've got going here.
Things have really opened up here in the opening 12 minutes of the second half. Talk about a goal against the run of play. And the Vols find themselves behind. That one nearly tied it up.
Yeah, Missouri have been under the cosh, as you would expect, and they would have expected that coming out. But yeah, and really Tennessee dug their own grave there. They were very sloppy at the back. Again, it almost seems to me like they got back into the game, and it was, we keep talking about Thursday night, but Thursday night they were up by 3 at one point, and then they just sort of switched off, and before they knew it, Mississippi were back in the game in a flash. And so, again, they seemed to think there, they switched off a bit, there was a mistake. Lubert was onto that in a flash, was about to pull the trigger, brought down, no question it was a penalty, clear-cut penalty. And what a cool penalty it was that she took. She just rolled it past the keeper.
Here's Vignola. She has been dynamite in the second half.
Yeah, scored a lovely goal, but that one was a little bit off. Yeah. Missouri, if anything, have got to stop Vignola. She's getting the ball, she's turning, she's got a lot of space to run into. That's how she scored the goal. They've got to try and shut that down if they can.
You mentioned that Coach Penske would be frustrated with Maya Neal conceding that penalty.
Yep.
She probably should have conceded one against Ole Miss as well. Took down CeCe Kaiser in the box and got away with it.
You're right.
Clark on a foul against O'Keefe. Been a tough season for Sarah Lubert so far this year by her standards last year, but she's doubled her goal total with a pair here today.
Yeah, she has really exploded today, hasn't she, with that fantastic first goal. She
towards Shaw, just too far in front of her from Katie Cousins. Good delivery, but Shaw couldn't quite reach it.
But Sarah Lubert, going back to her first goal today, I mean, she started the move from which she scored in the end, in the first half, and then, of course, she was onto that mistake in a flash just now. Was about to pull the trigger. Neal, no question, and the referee was well placed. Definite penalty. And she just rolled it home. There's all kinds of theories about penalty taking these days, Nate. Do you go just for sheer power? A lot of people go up the middle, assuming the keeper's going to go one way or the other. That's pretty dangerous to me. And this time, Lubert said, okay, I'm going to bank on the keeper going this way and roll it the other way. And it paid off.
First free kick, or rather first penalty kick for Missouri all season.
Yep.
First one Sarah Lubert had taken in her career. The only current Tiger who had any penalty kick experience last year was Allie Hess. She made 1 out of 2, and she's on the field, but Missouri opted to give it to Sarah Lubert, and she finished as coolly as ever.
Oh. And this is really kicking off now there. Seemed to be a bit of afters there between Shaw and Polivka. I like the fact that Polivka just gets up and gets on with it, but there was a bit of afters there, and that's an obvious foul. And now Tennessee getting a little frustrated, and there's some words also. I'm just looking at Shaw and Polivka again here. There's a bit of jawing going back and forth there, and it's getting a little physical, and I think Tennessee getting a little frustrated. And if you're Missouri, you'll be okay with that, because if they get frustrated, it's going to throw them off their game a bit mentally. And that shouldn't worry you at all if you're a Missouri fan. And we'll see what Missouri can do here.
Madison Lewis, dangerous header toward Trujillo. Knocked back to Hess and cleared away. Both Brian Blitz and Brian Penske, who, if you didn't know from their shirts, would be almost difficult to separate.
Yeah.
Have been taking turns making a run at the referee's assistant, standing between the benches and expressing equal displeasure.
The fourth official is the worst job in the game because you get it from both sides.
Eyes into the box, easy for Yanez.
But I think Coach Penske at this point is staring a defeat here in the face right after it looked like his team, had got that equalizer despite the best efforts of Kristen Rivers in the Missouri goal. And then you'd have thought they'll probably go on and turn the screw now. But then they shot themselves in the foot with a mistake at the back that let Lubin in to score, and Missouri back in front with just less than half an hour to go. It's a good game though, really good game. Some great matchups, been very physical, fast, some great goalkeeping. It's had a little bit of everything, even a bee sting.
Absolutely everything you could possibly want. And even some you don't, maybe.
And I'm sure, Nate, we could work in some puns there, right? That Tennessee have been stung
25th minute goal from Lubert. 55th minute goal from Vignola, and Lubert had her second in the 57th minute to Ansel right back on a penalty kick. And Missouri has this 2-1 lead, but still more than enough time for an explosive Tennessee offense. And this is when the substitutions start to come into play as well.
But if you think about it, the goal for Tennessee didn't really come from their out-and-out attacking, did it? It came from the midfielder making the run, then taking the shot.
Vignola probably manufactured 70+% of that offensive stretch all by herself.
And now here's trouble for Missouri, though, because she sprung Shore, who's one-on-one with Frick here. This is real danger.
Now everybody closes down.
Yeah.
Shaw was dealing with 4 white shirts, and Frick is there ahead of Shaw, who piles into her.
And Shaw, really there, always was going to lose out on that challenge, and then just piled into Frick. And Shaw is very frustrated here, I think. And Frick will certainly give as good as she gets when it comes to physical play. She will never, ever shirk a challenge.
If there's one weakness for Shaw, it might be that her straight line speed is not among the best forwards in the conference, just because she has such of a physical presence. She's probably fortunate to avoid the book there.
I think she was, and Frick is laughing that one off, which says a lot about her mentality and her attitude to physical play. She's having a chuckle about that.
Seems like Bryn Polivka has been having a few chuckles as well. This Missouri backline seems to be taking genuine pleasure in agitating Bunny Shaw.
I think you're absolutely right. I don't know if it's something they've said, maybe you can wind her up, getting her head a little bit. I mean, notwithstanding a bee sting, which was obviously not something they planned, but, and I think, sure, you're right. She's lucky to escape a card there, because I think that she dropped onto the top of Frick. That was just a little bit of afters for me.
And she did get a little bit of a talking to from the referee. I would imagine she's on her final warning before seeing yellow.
That's what the ref was saying. One more and you're in the book.
Because certainly everybody, I think, here, referee, player, fan, otherwise, knows the frustration Shaw is dealing with at the moment.
Yeah.
Bielzak trying to get out on the distribution from Yanez. She did pretty well to get around Clark, but only as far as Joseph.
And it's just evident to me, too, that, you've got your tenacious defenders from Missouri, like Frick, who, as I said, will never, ever shirk a challenge. But all the Missouri players now, even the ones you wouldn't normally pick for getting involved in really tough physical battles, are just piling into the challenges. So they're totally committed here to trying to hang on to this lead for as long as they possibly can.
Shaw tripped up there by Joseph, and Tennessee will have a free kick. And I wonder, Simon, if when SEC coaches consult this film, especially, say, Georgia, the next opponent for Tennessee, if Missouri isn't providing the blueprint here for how to attack Khadijah Shaw at the front for Tennessee, just deny her the ball. Put somebody on her to mark her everywhere she goes, whether Tennessee has possession or not.
I think they might well.
Cousins free kick.
Because you can see, the longer the game's gone on, she's just getting more and more frustrated. Of course, she was out of the game, for 20 minutes in that first half anyway, but It's been a frustrating afternoon for her thus far, but still, she's got 25 minutes to do something, so.
Again, Missouri playing without one of the true strikers in. Jessica Johnson has had not as many minutes. Here's Whitmore on the left flank, and she was offside. But at the moment, Savannah Trujillo is filling that role, capable of holding up play a little bit, but at her size, not much of a target in the box, especially against a physical Tennessee back line. Brian Blitz and Missouri have been improvising a lot in this match, trying to keep people fresh and provide the speed to keep control of the ball in the attacking half. And we've seen a lot of Tigers combinations, especially at the front, that I'm not sure we've seen all season.
Yeah, you saw Whitmore just stray offside there. That's frustrating, though, because she's on the wing here. She can look across the line. She needs to hold her run a bit better.
There's Trujillo, wins it from Cousins. Bella Alessi, who's getting a lot of minutes today. Trujillo probing forward. Whitmore straight offside again.
She came back from an offside position. And again, she's going to do a better job of looking across the line there and staying onside. Just a bit overeager, I think, maybe.
Good header from Polivka. Finds Alessi in some space. Mishandled a bit, though, and Gilroy comes away for Tennessee, and she's fouled. Brian Blitz showing a lot of trust in some of his younger players. Bella Alessi, only a freshman. Bryn Polivka, only a freshman. Playing big roles against the 21st ranked team in the country. Delivery from Cousins toward O'Keefe. Headed away by Macy Trujillo. And Alessi on it again for the Tigers.
Substitution for Tennessee, number 1 Flynn, number 5 Gilroy, 11 Burkett, for number 4 O'Keefe, and number 2 Marcano, for number 10 Shaw. Substituting for Missouri, number 3 Hayden Golding, for number 2 Brenda Polivka.
Mass substitutions for Tennessee at the front. Marcano and Flynn in. Here's Danielle Marcano into the penalty area straight away.
Well defended.
Macy Trujillo closed her down.
Yeah, nobody let her get into the box there, did they?
McKinley Burkett also in. Trujillo knocks that one away, tries to pursue it, but Bielzak closes her down. The interesting thing for me, Simon, was that Missouri made one substitution, Peyton Goulding coming in for Shaw's personal defender, Bryn Polivka, with Shaw leaving, and you could see Missouri waiting, almost like deciding whether to bring in a pinch hitter. They were waiting for Tennessee to commit the substitutions. Peyton Goulding still had her substitute bib on and didn't take it off until she saw for sure that Shaw was leaving the game.
Yeah.
Here's Flynn. Her cross knocked away by Joseph, and Tennessee has another corner. Number 6 of the match for the Volunteers. Cousins to take the corner. Rivers comes out for it. It falls to Bielzak, and she skies it well over the bar.
Yeah, Rivers did not get that. It seemed to get tied up. Was it Frick? I think one of the defenders tied her up with that.
Calling it an open goal, though, for Bielzak, probably a stretch.
Yeah.
Missouri defenders did well. There were probably 3 of them in the face of goal by the time Bielzak connected.
Yeah, Bielzak had a lot to do there, and you could see what she was trying to do, I think. She knew that with all those defenders in a way, she had to kind of lift a shot to get it anywhere close to, but she got too much on it. But it was a half chance for sure. Bit of a let-off for Missouri.
Substitutions for the Tigers. Zoe Cross comes on for Allie Hess. Lauren Gaston in for Peyton Joseph. Jessica Johnson comes back on. Here she is after replacing Bella Alessi. Pass wide of Cross. And Sarah Lubert, the 2-goal scorer for Missouri, back in for Lindsay Whitmore. Aggressive sliding challenge from Cross, and she called for a foul.
Yeah, and she's saying to the ref, hey, I got the ball, and it wasn't from behind.
Looked like she knocked that one pretty well clear.
You know, if it was from behind, sure, but she was face to face with the player there, so I didn't see too much wrong with that.
A late decision as well.
Yeah.
To call the foul. Here's Neal on the free kick.
That's
drives
a waste.
it in, but much too close to Rivers.
It's a real waste. Again, that's what we were talking about with Rivers before, and she did a much better job with her strong leg, but that time, you know, you've got to make the defense work, and she didn't do it.
Headed back all the way to Yanez. Rivers has played exceptionally well for Missouri today.
Yep, she's been excellent.
Tigers have kept only one clean sheet in a victory this year. It was a 3-0 win. Their last victory, in fact, all the way back on September 17th against Albany. But I would wager the goalkeeper play today has been much, much more impressive than it was in that one. Probably the best game for a Missouri keeper so far this season. Bielzak has it knocked away by Cross. Rachel Hayes clears it off for Missouri.
That's good play from Clark.
Trujillo after it, along with Ren French, who gets there first and clears it away, but Missouri will have an opportunity to maintain a little bit of possession for the first time since all the starters have come back in at the front. Into the final 20 minutes. A 2-1 advantage for Missouri on the strength of 2 Sarah Lubert goals. The second, a penalty kick in the 57th minute. Cross from Hayes, too close to Yanez.
Wasn't a good piece of distribution at all from Yanez, was it? She's going to be better too. I mean, I understand the urgency to get her team back in the game, but you still got to make sure that you do the fundamentals right, just like Cousins did there. But
so easily she evades two Missouri defenders.
And that's the thing, isn't it? She makes it look easy, and it's not at all.
Handball there. That one came up and got Mercado completely incidentally, but her arm was extended from her body.
See, players with her kind of talent, that's the thing. She makes it look easy because she always seems to have time on the ball, even when she doesn't. And that's the side of a player who's just so calm and collected and has the skill with the ball at their feet.
That's going to go all the way out for a Tennessee goal kick. Paige Franks unmoved by that one. Take a look back at the goals that have gotten us to this point. 2-1 Missouri. It was the Tigers who struck first. A wonderful hit from Sarah Lubert.
Strike is the right word. It was a beautiful strike right in off the post. And this was a lovely strike too, wasn't it? Nothing Rivers could do about that. And the penalty rolled home by Lubert, who won the penalty in the first place. That's what we are.
She could have looked much calmer taking that penalty. Didn't even celebrate much, just turned around and pumped her fist like she expected it to go in all along. And with the confidence she seems to be feeling today, I'm sure she did.
That's the thing, you know, if you're stepping up to take a penalty, you envision nothing but putting it away.
Moata Sanmi has her long ball tipped away. Caitlin Clark rather back after it from Missouri.
Two-footed tackle. The ref's never going to go for that.
A foul called against Adesanya.
I mean, the debate about two-footed tackles is, are you in control or not? I would argue there that Adesanya was in control. She didn't leave the ground. But two-footed tackles these days, referees take a dim view, and really for good reason of that. And so you can't go in, if you're going to go to ground, don't go in to ground with 2 feet because you're always going to get pulled up for a foul.
Mackenzie Gooner tried the free kick that time, goes all the way through to Paige Franks, freshman on the far side, working against Sarah Lubert.
And there's Lubert, look, back by her own corner flag, doing the defending.
A nutmeg from Bielzak. She gets through into the area, but her shot to the near post eagerly awaited by Kristen Rivers. Rivers loves to try to get people forward, but again, just too much leg on it. She's out kicking her coverage.
And that time, the same criticism applies there. Kristen there should have taken a bit more time. She's just giving it right back to Tennessee. You know, just take an extra step, drop it a bit shorter.
That one sails over Kupritz and Adesanya, and Kupritz put a hard couple of forearms in Adesanya's back, called for the foul.
It's getting a little chippy out there, and I expect as we get into this last 15 minutes, it's only going to get chippier from here.
Tennessee maybe getting a little bit more desperate, but Missouri will be happy with all of these stoppages. The minutes continue to slide right off the clock.
And I think you know, there could have been a card there because that was actually arms up in the face. So
here's Lauren Gaston. Turning on the speed around Flynn. Her pass knocked away, but Missouri will have a throw. Because all of a sudden, it feels like this second half has gone by all of a sudden without much action the way it was for the first few minutes. And now things have kind of settled into a lull, and Missouri is happy to see that.
Quite happy to see that. I mean, really, Tennessee haven't created a clear-cut chance since they've scored. And like you say, Nate, Missouri will be very happy about that, and that's the way they'd love to keep it if they can here. But at some point, as the longer this game goes at 2-1, Tennessee are going to get more and more desperate. They're going to have to commit more players forward, which is going to leave them a bit more open at the back. That's not a bad effort.
Trujillo let it rip, just for her first goal of the season.
Just for a second there.
Should say it would have been her second, but her first since August 20th against Iowa State. She would love to get a good sight of goals. Into the final quarter of an hour. Missouri still up 2-1 on the pair of Sarah Lubert goals. Now substitutions. In comes Bunny Shaw, and wouldn't you know it, in comes Bryn Polivka rather for Missouri.
Were they sitting together on the bench?
They might as well have struck up a friendship by this point.
I'm not sure that's what I call it at this point, but...
For Tennessee, number 10, Shaw returns.
Usually has not taken very long when they both come back in to get to jostling and exchanging a few words, no more than a minute or two.
I imagine we'll see more of that here in a second. And yep, there they are.
Already back after each other.
Yep.
Over Shaw's head, and Polivka happy to head it out. Clark in after that one. Tennessee comes away, though, and a foul called.
Yeah, I think actually the ref did Missouri a favor there because Tennessee had possession, were coming forward, but he pulled it back, and Missouri can get back, set up a little bit, and get organized.
You have to think that Tennessee has at least one more good opportunity coming.
Oh, yeah, at least.
In for Shaw, takes a hit in the back from Polivka.
I think Shaw went down pretty easily there, and the referee was having none of it.
Johnson ushers that one out, and Missouri will have a throw.
Tennessee substitution number 4, O'Keefe, for number 23,
A little bit of a delayed reaction as well after the contact.
Number 28, Lauren Gaston.
Shaw has tried just about everything on Polivka. I think has been much more of a handful for her than we would have expected coming into this match. A very inexperienced freshman.
She's done a great job. I mean, she really has. She's done a good job not only physically in the tackles, but she's also done a good job in the other stuff that's part of the game. Not being intimidated. She's given as good as she gets with all this jostling around. And, you know, they're talking back and forth, and she's not taking any of that, you know, even though she's a young, relatively inexperienced player. You know, she's giving it right back to Shore when she gets it from Shore, and so that's fine.
I wonder if maybe this could be a good way for a freshman to start to take some big minutes in that, because it's a very simple defensive assignment. It's a difficult one, but it's simple.
Exactly. Straightforward, but like you said, difficult.
Here's Lubert. Little bit of space toward Johnson. Unconvincing clearance from French, and it eventually falls to Johnson again for Missouri. An opportunity for the Tigers to snatch some possession, which has been little here in the second half.
That's going to go out.
O'Keefe can't keep it in. Good effort.
This field is very, very fast at the best of times. And even though we've had finally some rain in the last few days here in Columbia, it's still a very fast field, and that ball will run away from you in a split second.
French ahead towards Shaw, but clipped Polivka, and I think this is going to finally put Shaw in the book.
Yeah. And I feel a bit sorry for her there because I didn't think that was as malicious is the wrong word, but she's had a couple of challenges earlier that I thought warranted a yellow card, probably more than that one.
Certainly no intent there.
No, but like you said, Nate, it was just the totting up process in the end. Yeah, it was the arm that came up, just clipped Polivka in the back there, so that's what it was. It was just the ref had probably had a word, and in the end he just said, okay, even though that wasn't intentional like some of the others were, that's the card. So she's got that now playing in the back of her mind as well. You know, she's got to be careful not to do anything too silly, otherwise she's going to get her marching orders and they're down to 10.
Hess tried to flick it on for Johnson, but only as far as Gooner. Cousins has her pass knocked away. Here's Grace Kitts, who's played in a much more forward role. And Clark hit there by Burkett, who's able to win it for Tennessee. I wonder if maybe what we're seeing is Grace Kitts filling in a bit more of the role of what Tess Relihan had. Here it is for Kitts, a left foot effort. Just
wouldn't drop for Kitts, would it? It span up in the air, and sometimes get those, you want it to drop faster, and it seemed to take forever to come down before she could get the shot off, and in the end, she probably took it a bit early and didn't get much behind it, but still, it was on target.
Relihan out with a knee injury she suffered a couple of weeks ago against Texas A&M. And Kitts called upon to play a much more forward role here today than she has in the past.
Yeah, Lubert, just for a second there, her first touch let her down, and you don't say that very often about Sarah Lubert because usually her first touch is so good. If her first touch had not let her down there, she had a run on goal again.
Lubert again, back to Joseph, combining with Kitts. Into the final 10 minutes, Missouri up 2-1, trying to upset 21st ranked Tennessee.
That's nice play from Missouri. Stroking it around a little bit.
Adesanya.
You can see what she's trying to do. It didn't come off.
All the way out for the goal kick.
Yeah, tried to play it for the corner, but they were wise to it.
For all the latest updates and information across the SEC, be sure to visit SECnetwork.com. Some of today's top stories, football plays of the week from a busy Week 6 Saturday in the SEC. Nick Chubb reaching the 4,000-yard mark. Just another one of those great running backs coming out of Georgia. And, of course, soccer players of the week in Week 7. As we move into the latter stages now of the SEC soccer season, this would be a crucial win for Missouri.
See, how did Cousins get at, you know, she chested it down, looked like she'd lost it 2 or 3 times there and still came away with the ball and sets Tennessee up here.
Vignola, though, shot, and Rivers there again. She has been consistent today.
Good work from Rivers again. Textbook, you know, shot that's low, but look at Cousins here. Battling away, you think, okay, she's probably lost it here, probably lost it there. She's definitely lost it there, but no. Look at that. Fantastic play from her. She's been their best player for me today.
Always see those great snapshots of the best central midfielders when you take a still picture of them and surrounded by 4 defenders and somehow they work their way through.
Yeah, that's exactly what she did there and set up her team for an attack. And in the end, it was a good save from Rivers, who got the basics right, got behind the ball, but now let's see what Shaw can do here. Deeper than Tennessee would like to see her on the ball, of course. And that's a waste.
From French,
yeah,
wasted to Rivers.
Waste. Missouri be happy. That's good defending. They had Shaw on the ball, but she's outside the box. They'll be happy for her to get the ball there all the rest of the game, because that's not where she's going to hurt you.
Comes all the way through to Yanez for Tennessee. Missouri has only 1 win in the SEC so far this year. It came against Georgia. The Bulldogs, the only winless team in conference play, down at the bottom of the table that we showed you in the open and then again at halftime. This would be a tremendous victory for the Tigers, trying to establish some momentum and confidence for the rest of their season. But just to move them out of those bottom 4 who missed the SEC tournament, Missouri has not missed the conference tournament in its first 5 years in the SEC.
Yeah, and it's just vexing to see this Missouri team play like this today, but this is also the team who conceded 5 at home to Texas A&M, you know, and things didn't go their way in that game, but then, you know, conceded 5 in the consecutive games as well. And they're playing so much better with so much more determination and grit today than those games, even though, as I said, they had some misfortune, some injuries that counted against them. But they've just been excellent this afternoon.
Defense has been much better. Rivers has been very good in goal.
She's been excellent. She really has. Look at Lubert go. Wow, she just about got there, and that's surely a foul.
No foul, but she wins a throw-in. I think Brian Blitz felt the same way. He's gesturing that there was an elbow up from Maya Neal.
It looked to me like Neal saw Lubert coming, knew she wasn't going to get there, and just went for the player. She did. Surely, it was more like a football block to me. She saw Lubert coming, knew she wasn't getting the ball, and just went for the player. And that, to me, is a card all day long.
What commitment, though, from Sarah Lubert.
Because if I'm right, Neil, did she get a card for the foul for the penalty?
I don't believe she did.
She should have got one for
surprising.
that. Yeah, she should have got one for that. And like you say, Nate, I didn't think I'd seen one. Yeah, she didn't get a card for that. She should have. So she should have definitely got one there. So the referee, I thought, was maybe a bit harsh on Shaw earlier for the totting up, but Neil certainly, I think, has dodged a couple of bullets there.
Deflects free to Polivka.
That's careless.
Clark, a bit of a wild pass.
Yeah, can't do that there at this late stage in the game.
But Polivka looks very composed, if nothing else, knocking it back down the field. Missouri would like to keep a little more possession.
Yeah, for sure. Can't keep, if you keep giving it back to Tennessee here like that here in this last 5 minutes, you know, they're going to end up hurting you for it. So you've got to try. Missouri, you know, probably playing on fumes here. They've given so much this afternoon, but they've got to try and just take a deep breath and be a bit more composed here. And here they should take their time with this free kick.
This time Lubert draws the foul.
Take your time. And I'm sure Coach Blitz is telling them, hey, that's it. Yeah, and this is what they're doing. Just take your time. Don't hurry it. Be patient. In fact, you know, if it was me, I'd be waiting till the referee told me to get on with it, you know.
Joseph in toward Kitts, and she was in an offside position. According to the assistant, didn't end up mattering. But into those final 5 minutes, still 2-1 Missouri.
And the few occasions, Nate, our team that I played on was winning late in the game. Didn't happen to us very often, but there's a number of ways you can manage the game, you know, almost like American football where you're running the clock. And one of them is a free kick situation like that late in the game. Just wait till the referee says, does this, you know, taps to his watch. That's when you take it.
Here's Caitlin Clark. Again, passes right at Tennessee defenders.
Clark looking really leggy to me at the moment. I mean, they had a tough game the other night at Missouri in Florida. She just looks leggy, and that was a careless pass, and here come Tennessee.
Good combination, O'Keefe to Shaw.
Again, that's where you want Shaw, but she did very well there.
Bialzak, what a save by Rivers. It's loose, and Tennessee has equalized.
Rivers seemed to have made a brilliant save. She tried to claw the ball back, and it rolled away from her. And Tennessee couldn't miss that night. You've got to feel sorry for the keeper, who made a tremendous save down to her left this time and just couldn't hold on to the ball. Good cross from Shaw. Good effort, good save, and then, oh, she just couldn't. The ball just rolled away from her. Agonizing for Rivers.
Second goal of the season for Erin Gilroy. And you could see her immediately grab the ball out of the back of the net. Tennessee is not happy with the draw. The Vols are thinking win.
And just as Missouri were beginning to think that this was going to be an upset and this was finally their moment this season, like I say, you have to feel for Rivers. She did so well on the initial save. Tried to claw the ball back. Probably would have been better if she could just to push it out by the post. And it just ran away from her.
Johnson toward Trujillo. And Maya Neal struggled to see that one out, but still an opportunity off a set piece here for Missouri.
And again, Tennessee scoring a goal and then sort of switching off just a little bit there. And just for a second there, I thought that was going in. Neal getting there first. That was close too.
Savannah Trujillo to take it for Missouri. Ticking toward 3 minutes to play. Tigers trying to go back on top. That's easy for Yanez.
And I just thought Missouri was starting to look a little leggy, and now they've got the possibility of overtime staring them in the face in this last 3 minutes. Missouri will be gutted by that, though, because Rivers, you know, seemed to have snuffed out the danger with the save, and then that ball just got away from her. Agonizing for Missouri.
Lewis boots it toward Trujillo. Clark after it. Gunnar has to be careful with Johnson right on her back. Johnson keeps it in, and she wins possession. Trujillo toward the middle by herself, couldn't get it to her.
Cross.
Now toward Lubert, but too high.
Great cross from Johnson. Lubert was just going to attack the near post, and in the end, the cross went to the back post.
Lubert called for a foul, not too happy about it either. You could see, though, even with her speed, just a little bit more leggy, as you would say.
I didn't think there was too much in the foul at all, really.
Paige Frank's just a bit faster coming off the bench, hasn't played as many minutes today. And you wonder how this Missouri group will hold out in overtime, if that is necessary.
Well, at the very least, you'd expect Missouri would want to take this to overtime. It would be harsh on them to lose this game now. As hard as they've worked, the chances they've taken, as well as the goalkeeper has played, and as well as they've just kind of shaken up this Tennessee team who up until now had such a great landmark season.
Trujillo and Johnson combining well. Trujillo was thinking maybe Lubert could make a back post run, but it goes out for a goal kick.
Because on balance, you'd have to say that Missouri's, the plan for this game has worked to perfect. Well, obviously it hasn't worked to perfection because they're not winning, but it's worked to close to perfection. The idea to go man to man on Shore, I think, has worked very well, although in the end it was Shore, and I would have said that that's where you would have wanted her out wide. It was her cross that led to the chance that led to the goal, but here's Missouri now.
Trujillo in the final minute, left foot shot, but not enough on it.
And we are full on headed for overtime here, and it's a warm day as well, isn't it? So.
And Missouri coming off playing on a very warm night, of course, Florida. Always humid down in Florida on Thursday night.
And I think Tennessee had slightly better conditions the other night. It was raining there a bit and looked like a cooler night.
Eyes taken down by Vignola. We'll see how much Missouri wants to push here into the last 30 seconds.
I'd say push. 30 seconds. It's going to take something for Tennessee to come up and score. Try and get the ball in the box and try and do something here.
Rivers has the leg. That one off the head of Neal, going toward the corner flag.
Let it go for a corner. He'll have time to take it if it does. Oh.
And in the end, Frank's able to save it for a throw-in. 15 seconds. Missouri looking for a winner and a foul throw.
Yeah. Lubert was in such a hurry, she didn't take care of the basics. And Missouri had a chance, maybe a last gasp chance to get it in the box, and it's gone. And Missouri was so close to pulling off the upset, but it was not to be.
Tennessee able to equalize. Aaron Gilroy in the final minutes draws the Volunteers back level. We're headed to overtime in Columbia. Missouri 2, 21st ranked Tennessee 2 on SEC Network. Ready for overtime here in Columbia. A 2-2 tie. Tennessee found the late equalizer from Aaron Gilroy to force us to the extra 30 minutes if necessary if we don't get a winner. Hey, Gatter and Simon Rose back with you. Let's look at those highlights. Only one goal in the first half. Sarah Lubert put Missouri up 1-0. Things started to get crazier in the second 45 minutes.
It did. It was a great finish from Lubert, and then Tennessee drawing level with another great finish. Definite penalty there as Neal goes flying in there carelessly. Lubert just rolling it in, and it looked at that point, and as it got to this point, that might be enough. Good save from Rivers there, and the ball agonizingly just rolling across her through her legs, and there was the equalizer.
Rivers has played very, very well, having to withstand those 23 Tennessee shots, 10 of them on goal. She has been up to all but a couple. That wonderful strike from Vignola and then the rebound chance for Aaron Gilroy. Give Tennessee credit for all the frustration that this Missouri game plan has caused the Volunteers. They have not stopped pushing all afternoon long, and they eventually got what you have to say is a well-deserved equalizer.
Yeah, they never gave up, kept plugging away, and just as Missouri, I think, had their eyes on that upset, that's when the equalizer came. And as we've said before, Rivers did so well, I thought, to get to the initial chance, but then those just roll away from you, and it just rolled. Of course, if it had gone the other way, if she pushed it out, they would have been fine. But for it to roll back, get through her legs like that, and it was an unmissable chance for Gilroy. I mean, it was basically on the line. She couldn't help but just bury that chance easy.
Take a look at our overtime rules here in SEC play. Missouri and Tennessee getting ready to kick it off. Couple of 10-minute periods. And the sudden victory, meaning that it will end as soon as a goal is scored. Tennessee has already had a loss by sudden victory, 1-0 to South Carolina. And a draw as well against Auburn that played all the way through 2 overtimes. Missouri's only overtime game was a goalless draw against Oregon State early on in the season, when all 110 minutes as well. The Tigers have not yet gone to overtime in SEC play. Simon, what do you think are the biggest keys for overtime, considering where the two teams are at this point?
Well, the biggest key is that Missouri somehow have to dig deep, and as you said, they played on a very warm night Thursday in Florida. They were looking a bit leggy to me that last 5 minutes, and so they just have to really, really dig deep. They've been tenacious so far, see if they can hang on here, maybe snatch something. Tennessee, of course, will have the wind back in their sails now from getting that late equalizer, and I think if I was a betting man, my money would probably be on them at this particular point. The thing is, with this sudden death setup, I found that some people don't like it because when it was tried by FIFA and UEFA, you found a lot of teams who played just not to lose, and it led to just stalemates. I found it to be exactly the opposite in the SEC, that teams just go for the jugular in these overtimes. And you can see Missouri now pushing, so it's, they don't play conservatively at all. They go for it, and it's really, this has been a knock 'em down, drag 'em out match, and it's almost appropriate, right, that it's going to finish like this anyway.
Especially if Missouri is the more tired squad, it would play into the Tigers' hands to be more aggressive from the outset and try to limit this to 2 or 3 minutes of overtime rather than playing the full 20.
Sure, that's how you'd love it to pan out.
Here's Rachel Hayes.
They're having the early pressure, that's for sure.
A few white shirts forward, over Hess, and past Lubert, who's after it with Gilroy. Knocked out for a Missouri corner, and this is the kind of situation. A more tired team can take advantage of it. Tennessee does not defend corners very well.
Absolutely. If there is a weakness for Tennessee, it's right now. And if you said, well, how would I like this overtime to go? Coach Blitz would have said, let's push him, let's see if we can get a set piece early, and that's exactly what they've got. Now the key is, Clark, who was looking particularly leggy to me, she's going to take it. It's got to be a quality delivery. It is.
Toward Polivka, but over her head to Rachel Hayes.
Notable Tennessee has everybody back.
Hayes and Gilroy both after that one, and Vignola clears it. Toward the later stages of the match as well, after tying it when Missouri had that corner Trujillo took in the final couple of minutes, Tennessee brought everybody back for that one as well. The Volunteers clearly aware of that as a weakness and trying to counteract it with sheer number of bodies
numbers,
in the box.
Right, yeah. Especially there when they know that, if Missouri was to score from a set piece there's no coming back for us, so we might as well get everybody back. But I think this is the first time now Tennessee are going to have the ball in Missouri's half, isn't it? Since we started overtime, so.
Shayana has an opportunity to get it forward. Over Lewis, falls all the way to Shaw. Dangerous on the turn, and she's fouled. This is a very good opportunity for Tennessee to end this match.
Yeah, big trouble here now for Missouri.
Shaw did well on the turn. She's so dangerous, as you said, Simon, in the first half. With her back to goal, she can turn and strike so quickly, and it looks like she's going to be the one to take this free kick. Another test for Kristen Rivers.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. She's probably going to step up and steam this one, I would think.
O'Keefe is also in the area.
She's got a left. She might try and curl it around the wall. Rivers going to have to be on her toes.
Here's Shaw. Rivers lets it go by. A goal for Bunny Shaw, her 11th of the season, and Tennessee escapes with a 3-2 win in Columbia.
And that is just a crushing blow for Missouri, who had just become so close to winning this game. And then the first time really Shaw set up that second goal, she curls it around the wall. We'd have to look at that again, and Rivers just couldn't get across in time. Right into the corner. Shaw put it exactly where she had to put it. No chance for the keeper. And Tennessee pulls a win out of nothing, really. They were so close to losing, and now it's the way things have been going for them this season. Their 12th win is right there.
What a frustrating match it was for Bunny Shaw, but finally found the goal at the very end in overtime to win it for Tennessee. All credit to her, as frustrated as she was at times, able to calm herself mentally and take a beautiful free kick.
You see it from behind there. She put it, she had one place she could put it. The wall didn't jump, didn't move, did what it was supposed to do. There was one place she could put it. She had to get it exactly right. And it's been a really interesting afternoon for her, but it finishes on a high.
So for Simon Rose, I'm Nate Gatter saying so long from Columbia, where the final score is Tennessee 3 and Missouri 2. The Tigers were so close to winning it. Tennessee a late equalizer and a winner. Next soccer broadcast on Thursday, October 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern, when the Tigers take on the Kentucky Wildcats. This has been a presentation of ESPN.